Okay, step four. Step four. This is the step that people prematurely move to because you've been told get there early, start with littles, but it's not true. You don't want to start early. You don't want to start with a little, and you definitely need to know what you're doing when you're investing. Remember where we're at right here, okay? We went out and created income. It could have been $1, it could have been $10, it could have been $10,000, it could have been $1 million. Understand the wheel is going to continue to do this in your life as you create wealth, okay? This thing does not stop. It's not stagnant in one place like it looks here. Create income, increase income, save that money. How much money do we save? We save it all of it. You basically have your living standards and the rest of it, all incrementals of income, all incrementals that were created right here now are basically save it all. This should say save it all. You don't save part of it, you save it all. Why? Why do I do that? So that I can finally get to step 4, investing. Look, the only reason to save money it is to take money and multiply it, okay? So the first thing you do is you commit to money. You commit. I want wealth. I commit to wealth in my friendships, commit to wealth in my relationships, commit to wealth in my brand, commit to wealth in how many people know that brand, commit to wealth in my money, wealth, expansion of money. First thing you do is you commit. Second thing is you set a target. Third thing you do is you go get it. Fourth thing you do is you keep it. And the fifth thing you would do is hold on to it and multiply it. I want to make it multiply. How do you do that? With investing. The only reason to save is to invest. Invest means expend money with the expectation of achieving a profit or material result by putting into financial schemes. Yes, schemes is the word used in the dictionary. Shares or property, or by using it to develop a venture. What did I just say right there? I just gave you the definition of investing. Investing. I'm going to invest. Okay, I'm going to take this Starbucks cup. I'm going to go buy milk. I'm going to invest in a machine. We're going to invest in a piece of real estate. We're going to actually sell this guy a cup of coffee. We're going to put it in a cup. We're going to take a cup of coffee that costs 10 or 15 cents. We're going to sell it to him for $4. But we had to invest in the machine, invest in the real estate, invest in the cups, invest in the steamer, because Mr. Cardone likes his 4 shots in a big giant cup. The 4 shots only come to here. And then he likes the rest filled with foam. Okay, what did I do? I just explained to you what an investment is. That's what Starbucks did. They took a product, a commodity that people were using every day, called a cocoa bean. They grabbed it out of the jungle. They paid somebody to collect the bean. They took the bean, they grind it down, they put it in a shop. They put locations all over. They made it available for me 24/7, okay? They invested. The only reason to have money is to, 1, buy essentials, and number 2, to invest to create new monies. The only reason to create money, the original reason to create money, by the way, was so people could trade things. They could trade things easily without having to exchange a goat for a chicken. It just got a little difficult if you wanted to do that at scale. So they said, hey, why don't we get some money? We'll create some value on that money, and Robert will trade money for the chicken so he can go to the goat guy and buy the goat, etc. Okay, you get it? Now, once you have the money, now that we have money, here we're a couple thousand years later, and we're sophisticated. You know, we have culture now. How do I take that money and what do I do with it? This is what this program's about. How do I take a little bit of money and create wealth out of that money? Well, you'll never get wealthy if you don't invest it. Never. It cannot happen. Two reasons you can't get wealthy. 1, you never earned any money, and number 2, you never invested it. Expand money, use money with the expectation of achieving a profit. To take that money, make it bigger, right? That's the goal of saving. The only reason to save it all right here, is so that you can invest it, okay? Now, you're going to also see along this wheel, okay, you're going to see investing over here again. This over here is a different level of investing than this is right here. Okay, right here, you're 25 years old, or you're 45 years old, and you're just starting. You're 55 years old. Folks, it's not too late. It is not too late for you, and it's never too early. But the level at which you're going to be saving money, if you're a rich kid and your daddy puts the money in a trust and you're getting $80K a month, that's a different level right here. By the way, you'd still be on this part of the wheel. That's a different level of investing, though, with a different think. Okay? That kid still needs to learn how to go out and create income. Just because you were born in a rich family and the kid's got a trust and is kicking off $80K don't mean he's wealthy. He doesn't have any friends, right? Nobody knows him. People don't like him. Nobody trusts him. He does not have wealth. He has no courage, no creativity, no ability to actually, make the world a better place because of his 80 grand he gets every month. Doesn't change anything. That's not wealth. That's just money. Investing. Devote one's time, effort, or energy to a particular undertaking with the expectation of a desired outcome. When I post something on Facebook, that is investing. You understand? I'm investing, okay? When I travel to Toronto to speak to a large group and I paid for the flight, I paid for my time, I paid for the expenditure, workbooks, etc., that is an investment. And that takes money, okay? So anything I saved money to invest, maybe I'm starting my new business. I'm investing in the new business. The word investment comes from the word endow, with authority, or clothe me with insignia, the insignia of the rank, okay? But, in the beginning, there's this thing called etymology, or the origin of a word. The word investing originally meant to clothe, to give a person rank. Think back 700-800 years ago, man. You were basically judged by what your clothes were. You either had rags on or you had the clothes of somebody in the emperor's surroundings, right? Your wealth was demonstrated by your clothing. By the way, I need a new jacket here. Okay, which would require an investment. Or would that be an expenditure? It just depends. See, some people spend money on clothes. I don't. I want to invest to use the clothes to get me more money. Look, you can't and won't get wealthy without making investments. The question is, what investments here? At what level? What do you start with when you're broke, okay? When you started 25 years old like I was and broke, I didn't invest any money in any other third thing, a thing outside myself, for 8 years. Every investment made between 25 and 33 years old, 34 years old, was made on me or my little business that I was operating. All the energy went right here. Literally 3 feet around me. If it wasn't around me, close to me, next to me, I didn't invest in it. Okay? Most people invest too early, not too late, by the way. Everybody's investing every day, okay? Most people just invest pennies and nickels and they waste time, okay? They invest too little, not too much, by the way. Many of you have been taught, just start little, start early, it'll turn into something. No, that's not true, okay? Now, I know some of you are going to disagree with me. Yeah, man, start now, start right now, start early, right? Start with the little. Look, people get rich because you on investing in this mutual fund. I'm not talking about the guy trying to sell you some life insurance. I'm talking about the hitters, the giants on this planet, the people that have that you have on you right now, dude, they go all in, man. They go all in, all their energy. They're not diversified. They don't diversify. They don't spread out, get into 6 or 8 things. Warren Buffett didn't start in 6 or 8 or 10 or 20 or 30 things. He started out with one thing, made a big bet, then made a second big bet, and then made a third big bet. Why does he diversify? Because he's got so much damn money, dude. He's got to. Okay? You understand? So your wealth, when your wealth starts expanding, you will. But right now, man, you got this much money, okay? Save 100 grand. You should save 100 grand. Your first target before you ever hit an investment outside of you should be $100,000. It's an arbitrary, it's a totally made up number by me, okay? I got to pick a number. People ask me every day, hey man, I got 20 grand, you don't have enough. I got 40 grand, you don't have enough yet. I got 60 grand, dude, don't just go collect you another 40. I had to pick some number. I think that if you could get to 100, then you should start looking at, hey, I've created enough discipline. Okay, I've proven that I can collect money. I've proven that in the process of collecting money, I didn't create emergencies in my life that destroyed the money. You know people like that continue to sabotage themselves along the way. You've created enough discipline long enough to go from 0 to 100 grand. You've proven to the world, to the marketplace, to yourself, your family, hey, I didn't create a bunch of sabotaging acts along the way to destroy the money. That's what people do right there. So I picked a number. I'm like, 100. It could be 89. It could be 120. I don't know. I'm going to pick a number. Pick a number and commit to it. Hey, until I get to 100K, no investment. Like the 3 feet around you, okay? In you and your business. So if you need a secretary, if you need a receptionist, if you need a marketing plan, if you need to buy a car to get you back and forth to build your business, do it, no problem. If you're a landscaper and you need to buy a lawnmower, that's an investment. Those are the investments I'm talking about early on. Everything around you, close to you. Until you save 100 grand, don't look to make other investments. Know what you're doing at this level, okay? When you make this first investment, by the way, I didn't make my first investment. My first investment, I had $1 million in a bank account. And I took 1/3 of it and threw it into a deal. But you better have some courage when you do that. You know, the old saying, it takes money to make money, is not true. It takes courage to make money, okay? And for you to have courage with money, the way to create courage with money is to create more money. So I took 1/3 of my money and pushed it into a deal. God says, man, you got a lot of courage. I'm thinking to myself, dude, I got twice that sitting in the bank. I'm willing to put that at risk. Okay? But here's what I did. To reduce risk on investments, you have to know what you're doing. Know what you're doing. When you make those first big investments with that 100K or that 350 or that $1 million, look for deals that are sure, okay? Is there any such thing as a sure deal? Is there any such thing as a guarantee? Is there any such thing as a deal that's for sure, guaranteed, gonna pay you? Hey, let me tell you something. That's the only deals I invest in. The only thing I invest in today is a sure deal. Nothing's guaranteed, Grant. Let me tell you, my deals are so sure that the world would have to be hit by an Independence Day meteor, okay, for my deal to go. If my deals go upside down, the whole world got blown up. Know what you're doing, okay? Look for sure deals. Evaluate based on downside, okay? When I make this investment right here, okay, early on, in the early parts, when I make this investment, I'm evaluating everything on the maximum downside. What that means is this. I take every worst case scenario. I'm gonna make this investment in this deal, okay? I look at every worst case scenario. The economy goes bad, jobs stop, there's a terrorist attack in the neighborhood, okay? The money goes bad, whatever, everything changes. Everything gets ugly. Do I still want to be in this deal? If the answer is yes, I buy the deal, okay? Now, when I buy that deal, I want to, particularly in these early stages, most of you out multiple flows of income yet. I save it all, and then I'm going to invest it. I may be making my first investment. That investment should be close around you. Okay? Keep that as your key. I want to stay close around me. I want to control it. I want to know there's no downside. If the world investing to create another flow, which I'm going to be talking about in the next segment. I'm trying to create new flows. That's why I like real estate for everybody. Okay, that's why I like high dividend paying stocks. Really safe stuff at this level. This would not be a technology stock right here. Man, I hope it turns out good. This is what people do, man. They get in all this high risk stuff. I'm trying to create wealth. Okay, what's wealth? Lots of friends coming over to my party. Okay, what's wealth? 1 million people on a Facebook stream. Right, lots of people coming into the stadium. Lots of different ticket prices, right? Some entry level, some nosebleeds, some front, right? I need lots of blends, lots of activity coming from lots of places, lots of wealth that can't be disrupted by one or two things. Plan for downside, okay? In the early stages, you should be investing in you. This is where you're buying programs, you're going to conferences, you're investing in trips to get around people. That's why you need money, man. You need lots of money, folks, okay? John needs to meet great people. You need to meet great people. You need to meet people that are able, okay? So right now, in these first stages, you don't need to go on a vacation. And if you're gonna go on a vacation where you can meet somebody that basically is an investment, not a memory, right? If you don't have the money and your trip is about staying at a Holiday Inn where the breakfast is for free, you don't have the money to make that trip yet. Remember what we talked about, spending money here. Remember spending money? What are you doing with money? Okay, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. It's a 4 or 5, boom, no way you're doing it. If it's a 3, it's a maybe, probably not doing it. If it's a 1 or 2, you got to do it. A vacation? Who can we meet? A dinner? Who can we meet? Who can we bring? Right? Those are investments now. If you go to dinner with your wife and y'all are just having a good time, that's one thing. If you go to your dinner with your wife or your husband and you can meet 2 clients, that's another thing. That's an investment. So I'd rather see you spend more money and make it an investment that expands you, because what we want to do here is I want to start preparing you for the multiple flows of income and our clients and our friends and our exposure and our brands, right? We want to get you more flows. The more flows creates more confidence, more courage, and more wealth. See you in the next segment.